Today's story time is about a time I was playing Xbox and someone I was playing with got so mad at me that they actually showed up at my house. Yeah, apparently Call of Duty hide and seek is a life or death situation with which you have to go physically throw hands. I knew you guys would enjoy it though, so let's get into it. Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. If you are, I'd really appreciate you taking a second to press that like button. If this video gets to 2,500 likes, no joke, no scam, you will get 3 wishes from a genie. But yeah, as you guys could tell from that little intro today, I've got a story time about a dude who literally tried to show up at my house because he got so mad at me when we were playing COD. It all goes back to Call of Duty hide and seek. It was nothing really me and serious. It was me and some friends from school, and we were all having what I thought was a good time. But obviously, when you're playing hide and seek, you gotta talk crap to each other a little bit. It's not fun if everyone just sits there silently and is like, wow, good job, man, you're trying to find me. No, it's way more fun to just talk a little bit of crap, make it a little bit more engaging. And this particular round, it was a guy named Alex who lived in my neighborhood who was the seeker. And I was hiding in the spot on, I don't know if anyone will know this, Underpass in Modern Warfare 2, which if you're wearing a ghillie suit, excuse me, is a great map to hide on. And so I'm hiding and I'm just staying quiet because I'm not even really paying attention, and everyone's talking crap to Alex saying he wasn't going to find them. And like I said, I'm just like on my phone at this point. I'm not really paying attention, and one by one I hear my friends getting picked off and they're all yelling. And I don't know if it was just because it was late or I was starting to get bored because we had played it for like 5 hours, but I just wasn't saying anything at all. I was completely zoned out, literally playing Clash of Clans on my phone. I did not really care what was going on at this point. You know, when it hits that point in like the gaming session where you don't really care what's going on anymore. And so I didn't even realize that I was the only one left until Alex starts like yelling my name at me, saying that I need to tell him where I am because he can't find me. And I could tell that he was getting irritated. And so I decided to just stay silent because I had been silent already, but I could just tell it was going to troll him a little bit too. And he keeps getting angrier and angrier, trying to like get my attention and demand that I tell him where I was located so he could come finish this game. And the rest of the party is like talking crap to Alex because they're all spectating me, and I'm not hiding anywhere spectacular. I'm literally just laying in a pile of bushes like underneath one of the spawn windows. But Alex is just screaming down the microphone. You know that yell on Xbox when someone's screaming down the mic so hard it sounds like it's about to break? Like the Xbox gods themselves are the only thing holding that poor microphone together. The sound is peaking. That's just what it sounds like. And then he just goes silent. Which, when someone is that mad and then goes absolutely silent, it's always my first idea to envision they've just hit that point of rage where they can't even talk anymore. And at that point, I decide to say something for the first time. And I say, hey, I'm on the map, which of course I'm on the map. It was a very trolly answer. And Alex yells that if I don't tell him where I am right now, then he's going to come to my house. And it's midnight. I'm like, dude, there's no way you're about to leave your house at midnight and come to my house. So I just start laughing. Like, all right, he's got to be just messing around with me at this point. There's no way he's actually going to come over at midnight over a stupid game. I thought he maybe was just like really committed to the bit, going full method actor a la the Joker, you know, pretending I was the reason we lived in a society, whatever Joker does to get mad at people. So I wasn't really expecting him, after I started laughing and ignoring him, to be like, you better answer the door, and then leave the party. And so the entire party is just kind of sitting there silently like, he's not actually going to go to your house, right? But the next thing we all hear is someone else who's in the party, their phone going off. And they answer it and put it on speaker, and it's Alex, and he's saying that he's gonna come to my house. And then we hear like a garage door opening and him getting on his bike, and then like the wind as if he's riding a bike on the phone. And the guy on the phone starts trying to tell him like, hey man, don't do that. You're just gonna get both of you in trouble. Like, you're not going to wake up his parents at midnight. He's gonna get in trouble. And if you think his parents are gonna get woken up by midnight and not tell your parents, you're crazy. Which is true. Like, we both would have gotten in a crap ton of trouble. My parents would have been like, why is this dude showing up at our house at midnight pissed off about Call of Duty? You're not playing Xbox anymore. Technically, I was supposed to have been asleep 2 hours ago. Like, it just would not have been a good situation, and I wouldn't have known how to explain what's going on. And my parents definitely would have told Alex's parents, because they would have been like, why was your kid showing up at my house at midnight? Have you never told him that that's not a good idea? So this was a no-win situation. There was no way he got a benefit out of this. There was no way I got a benefit out of this. It just wasn't possible. And I also wasn't even sure what he was mad about. Like, okay, yes, I guess he wanted to find me or whatever, and I was staying silent. But that makes you so mad that you need to show up at my house just because I was playing the game too well? You wouldn't show up at Tom Brady's house, like mad at him for throwing the ball. Tom Brady, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm just the Tom Brady of Call of Duty hide and seek, apparently. I'm so good at it that I'm making people need to, like, come to my house. Either way, he's on the phone, and we hear his entire journey as he makes his way to my house for his idea of just some awesome revenge. And it's at this point I realize that, like, okay, he's not kidding. I hear him coming, and so I start trying to think of a way to avoid him waking up my parents. Like, that's ultimately number one, what I'm trying to do. I didn't want to get grounded from Xbox. I knew if my mom opened the door at midnight to someone screaming about how I was not being nice in Call of Duty, it was a wrap. So I decided that my best bet was probably just to meet him outside. So I go out into my backyard and then out the side gate to the side yard of the house where there's no lights, and I took one of my dad's flashlight that if you hit the button twice, it was a strobe light. And I'm just waiting. And it felt like that scene in Call of Duty where they're like, we're going dark. And so about 15 minutes later, I kind of hear like a bike coming around the corner, you know, the sound of a bike on gravel. And I just go silent and I'm waiting. And sure enough, it's Alex, and he gets off his bike and walks up to the garage and says, like, semi-loudly, not yelling, but loud enough where you could probably hear him if a window was open, Ryan, come out. And I didn't want him to wake up my parents, so I just come around the corner and start strobing the flashlight. And for those of you that don't know what that does, basically, if you're looking at someone flashing a strobe light at you in the dark, you can't really see who's behind it or what's behind it. And I was holding it probably about like forehead level, because most people hold a flashlight at like their waist height, you know? So I'm holding it up a little higher so it looks like I'm tall because I'm short at the time. And I try to do my most convincing, like, voice of someone who's older and more authoritative. And I just say, get off my property now. And I can see Alex's face because I'm the one shining the flashlight, but he can't see me, dude. And truthfully, for a second, I thought he pooped his pants, man. The look on his face was horrifying. He was so scared. You know when someone's so scared, they turn into, like, an English butler in terms of being respectful, you know? Yes, sir. I'm so sorry, sir. Absolutely, sir. I genuinely apologize. And I didn't say anything else because I didn't think the voice was going to work again. I didn't think it was convincing in the first place. And so he's running to the bike and I don't really need to say anything. And he's really freaking out. Like, you know when someone is scared so they're running faster, their adrenaline's pumping, and it's like they have superpowers for a little bit. They got super serum or whatever. Like, that's how fast he's running to his bike. I don't know if he thought I was private security or whatever, but like he could have walked on water. That's how fast he was running. And he hops back on the bike and he hits the Lance Armstrong. And not this Lance Armstrong. I'm talking pure steroid Lance Armstrong levels of speed on that bike, man. It was wobbling back and forth. And so he peels out of there and I go back through the backyard and into the house. And I start going back up the stairs thinking I just got away with this, mission accomplished, no one's gonna be any wiser. And as I start walking up the stairs, I see the lights behind me flick on. And I turn around and like a cop waiting to question me when I got home in the dark, my dad is like sitting in his recliner chair all the way laid back and goes, what was all that? And I guess it had woken him up and he had come downstairs to see what it was, but then like nothing else had happened and he had just heard the end of the interaction. And so I'm like, oh, it was nothing, just a friend who wanted to play a prank. And my dad was probably too tired to really question it because he just kind of rolled with it. And he's like, well, don't go outside that late again and tell your friends that pranking our house, especially that late, is just off limits. And so I'm like, yes, sir, absolutely. I will tell everyone that showing up at midnight to yell at me over anything would be a little bit ridiculous because it's not my house. And just in general, that's stupid. Don't go to someone's house and yell at them. Like, wait, what's wrong with you, bro? Over Call of Duty or in general? Either way, I go back upstairs and I get back on the Xbox and I start telling everyone in the party about what had gone down. And we all agreed that we were going to play along, that like, you know, nothing weird had happened. We were going to just see what he would say about it, even though I told them what had gone down. And about 15 minutes later, Alex gets back and he sounds exhausted, like he just ran a marathon, probably just didn't stop pedaling the entire way as adrenaline carried him here. And everybody's like, dude, what happened? What happened? And he tries to play it off like it was nothing, but once they start pressing him, he decides that he's got to tell a pretty dramatic story. It's got to be something that prevented him from interacting with me. And so he starts talking about how my house apparently has security and thermal cameras and people knew he was coming, and everyone's like, whoa, what do you mean? Tell us what happened. And he starts to tell this story about how he had pulled up and started yelling for me and like started making a huge ruckus, which isn't what happened. He said my name name semi-loudly one time, and then all of a sudden, while he was trying to start beef with me, dude, some guy comes around the corner who must have been at least 7 feet tall, shining a flashlight at me that just absolutely blinded me. I couldn't see anything, dude. I might as well have just been flashbanged. Like, it was awful. And I love that he said that whoever was holding it was 7 feet tall, because at the time, this is before my growth spurt, I was max like 5'6". There's no way me holding a flashlight made you think I was some freak of nature. And then apparently this 7-foot tall boogeyman that had miraculously appeared at my house for my defense started saying that if he didn't leave the property, they were gonna put him in a world full of pain. And I'm sitting there laughing because I'm like, dude, I wish all of this would have happened. Like, I just scared you with a flashlight and a stupid fake voice. But in his mind, this guy and like the security guard had a battle of words where they were going back and forth roasting each other. And I don't know why you would roast the security guard who's 7 feet tall with the flashlight saying get off the property, but he's telling everybody that him got into it. And then finally he ended up leaving because the guy was just too strong and there was no way he was gonna fight him. Keep in mind, all of this is over him trying to show up at my house to fight me over an Xbox game, and he ran away because of a flashlight. But now he's in the party saying he's just the toughest guy ever, you know, he was never afraid even for a second of any of this. He would have single-handedly destroyed the security guard if he would have put the big scary flashlight down. And I don't really care that's what he says, whatever, because all of this, in my mind, started at being so angry at a video game that you get up, you go outside, you feel the cold air, and you go, nope, I'm still angry enough. You get on your bike, think about the physical energy you're about to exert to get to that person's house, and go, still angry enough. You ride the bike to that person's house, you get your whole workout in, you know, you're supposed to have a little bit of a runner's high going maybe, still angry, and then you proceed to get afraid of a flashlight and run away. Like, there's so many steps along that journey for you to just not be mad, and at every possible turn, he picked to be as mad as possible. Either way, the party starts laughing and is like, dude, it was him with the flashlight, and he starts arguing, saying it was literally impossible for it to have been me with the flashlight, because whoever was holding the flashlight must have been like the size of Bigfoot. And we're like, yeah, okay, man, the size of Bigfoot? Listen, I was holding it up at my face, but I'm not a giant by any means. And he was getting so pissed off with us insisting that it wasn't an 8-foot tall paranormal being that he left the party and literally never played Call of Duty hide and seek with us ever again. It was like that one time just poisoned the entire experience for him, and it was not my intention to do that, to be honest. I just didn't want him to wake up my parents. It wasn't like some big evil plan for me to make him never want to play Xbox with us again. That was never my goal, obviously. This guy just took it really personally that we said Bigfoot didn't attack him. I don't know. That Alex guy always was a little bit bizarre, and showing up at people's house over Call of Duty is weird. All over a stupid video game, ladies and gentlemen. But that's not the only story I've got for y'all today. The next one is about a dude who took out his gamer rage on some drywall. Alright, there's a gift card on screen. I give away money as a thank you to everyone who's subscribed with notifications, so turn them on and press the like button. Otherwise, I don't know, just press it, I guess. I'll get back to the video now, thanks. Alright, so this one was sent in to me by someone that has 2 stepbrothers, and one of them is pushing 30 and lives in the basement and is convinced that he's going to be the, like, you know, Messi of gaming and make billions and billions of dollars being a supreme esports athlete. I'm not sure if he's aware of the fact that nobody's ever made, like, billions of dollars professionally playing video games, and if anything, I feel like most of them have made more money by streaming and whatnot rather than the game itself. But whatever, either way, it's just whatever your heart desires, I guess. But he would game 24/7 in the basement and would rage constantly. And when I say game 24/7, I mean game 24/7. There was no time for showering, all right? He was on the grind. Who has time to, I don't know, use the bathroom when you could just have a water bottle under your desk and call it a day and spend way more time efficiently gaming? That's what matters. It's not like he would get violent or anything, but they'd be all trying to eat dinner as a family and he'd be down there screaming expletives at the monitor, being like, this is so unfair. His favorite thing to do was complain about the fact that other players were fighting back in an online game, and I don't mean verbally. I mean, like, literally, he would be talking about how they should just stand there and apparently let his character just, like, beat up on them, which makes no sense, especially if you're trying to play a game competitively. Oh, I don't know why everyone tries so hard in competitive. I think everyone gets a little annoyed when someone's sweating too hard in the casual lobby, but if you join competitive and then complain complain about people trying. I feel like that's on you. I also feel like if your plan is to be a professional esports athlete making billions, you just got to accept the fact that everyone you play against is going to be trying really hard, especially if you're the dude that made $1 billion gaming. And his parents were getting really tired of it, and up to this point, they had just been footing all the bills, which is a huge mistake. I feel like that is a big, stupid decision on their part to just be like, yeah, whatever, spend the first 12 years of adulthood living in our basement, all bills paid, go for it. But it's what they did, and at this point, they were getting tired of it, so they decided to have a talk with him about how he's almost 30, so it was probably time for him to get a job and start helping out with some of the bills, which is 12 years more than they're legally required to give him. You know, you gotta take care of your kid till you're 18. Obviously, it's nice to take care of them after that, but like, if they're gonna live in your basement till they're 50, you don't have to do that. Maybe you're being nice or whatever, but you don't have to let them live in your basement until they're 50. And so they told him that it's probably time to get a job, even if it's a part-time thing, to start helping out with the bills. And you would have thought that his parents told him to jump in front of a speeding car, dude. I can't do that and focus on my game, Dad. I don't know, man. I feel like plenty of people figure out how to do it. I feel like a lot of success stories I hear, it's like, I was working 3 jobs saving money to pay for X to chase my dreams. And I know tons of people that have jobs, work a normal schedule, and still can enjoy video games. I don't think you have to pick. And even if you're not going to give up everything, work 40 jobs, and like only be able to game for 20 hours a week, if you have a part-time job, you 100% will still have a ton of time to play video games. They weren't asking you to go get a job at a hedge fund and put in 120-hour weeks. They were asking for the bare minimum. I'm sure he would have been able to figure it out. And his parents aren't going to budge on the issue because it's ridiculous to say that he just won't have time to focus on his gaming if he gets a part-time job. And they're like, well, it's time for you to get a job and we can't take care of you forever. And he said that if they were serious about this, he was going to destroy his gaming setup. And I don't know why sometimes I feel like people super addicted to gaming will be like, if you don't want me to do this, then I'll break this. It's like, all right, yeah, that's literally what they want, man. And so they just blink at him when he says that threat and say, go for it. Like, yeah, by all means, dude, go destroy your Xbox. We can just avoid everything causing the problem in one go. And the conversation was heated, so he gets up and goes down to his basement dwelling, and they start to hear just like smashing noises. And they think that he's probably breaking his Xbox, his games, or whatever. And after a bit, his dad goes down there to try to calm him down because his stepmom wasn't going to go down there and get involved and like try to calm him down if he's that mad. And then his dad starts yelling. So the brother who sent this in to me goes to see what's up, and he comes around the corner and sees his stepbrother's room. And it looks like somebody gave the stepbrother a treasure map that said the treasure was located somewhere within the walls, because like every 4 feet, it looks like someone punched a hole in the wall. And then, you know, if you've ever punched through drywall, like your hand is in the wall. Imagine spreading your fingers and pulling off as much of the wall as you could. It looks like that's what happened. And it looked like this guy was on a hunt for treasure. Like a good 40% of the drywall is just gone from where this guy has decided to just go to town on it. And his dad is standing there screaming at him like, you have to go, man. This is our home. You can't just destroy everything that we work for. And the son starts trying to argue with his dad, being like, well, it's your fault because you're the one who told me to get a job and you can't kick me out because I'm your son and you have to take care of me. And the dad points out that you're approaching 3 decades, pal. I don't have to take care of you anymore, and I'm especially not going to take care of you if you're going to trash my house. Like, that is just the ultimate disrespect, to destroy an entire room because you're mad that they might make you pay a little rent. They're already losing money by you not paying rent. Now they're losing extra money because they have to pay for all the repairs that you did like an idiot. And then the basement dweller has the nerve to go, well, then I'll just go ahead and talk to my lawyer. What lawyer, dude? Even his dad is like, what lawyer are you talking about? You've been living in a basement for 12 years, blowing all your money on video game skins. No lawyer is going to work for free because there's no money to get out of the situation. They're going to hear this and go, dude, get a job. Like, lawyers are expensive. You can't afford that. And the son is sitting there stupefied. And I think the dad was more nailing home that, like, you can't get a lawyer. But even if he had the money, hypothetically, what is he going to say? My parents want me to pay rent. I'm almost 30. Please help me. Like, I don't know what the lawyer's going to do. Legally, you don't have to pay rent if you live at home. And so the son is like, well, stammering, and the dad pulls a suitcase out from under his bed and says, I'll help you pack, but you can't stay here, especially after you destroyed this room. Like, they were going to let him stay while he was getting a job and getting on his feet. Like, that makes sense. But yeah, if you're gonna destroy the house, you just can't stay. And so the son is realizing that his entire plan of destroying his setup is gonna backfire and he's about to get kicked out. Starts trying to repair the situation by offering to make repairs. And he's like, no, Dad, trust me, I'll repair the walls, I'll watch some YouTube videos. And the dad is like, yeah, that's not the problem. You thinking you can punch holes in the wall in the first place is the problem. And he doesn't really know how to respond to that, because I think that's the issue. Even if you're a drywall expert, you don't go into someone's house and start punching holes in the wall and be like, well, I know how to fix it. And on top of that, are we gonna trust this guy? Like, are we gonna trust the guy who goes on YouTube to look up how to fix drywall to fix a problem this big? And so he decides at that point that it's over, but if he's going to get kicked out, he might as well pretend that there's nothing he could have done and this is all someone else's fault. So he starts trying to blame his stepmom, who's upstairs, saying that she had been brainwashing him for years to try to get him kicked out, and she had been sending subconscious messages that he should destroy his room and was using the Wi-Fi to like try to sway his brain while he was sleeping so he would go crazy and do this to get kicked out, and it was all a part of her evil plan. And his dad is literally laughing at him at that point. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Your mom or stepmom is not beaming magic signals into your brain to try to convince you to destroy your room. That makes no sense. Like, what are you on about? And he starts getting mad at his dad, saying that if you're not going to take me seriously about the brainwashing, then I'll be leaving 100% by my choice, completely my choice. Oh yeah, man, that's exactly what someone says when something is their choice. Like, he realized he was getting kicked out, so you might as well pretend that your mom or stepmom, is a CIA agent who was trying to use the Wi-Fi to subconsciously poison your brain and say you're leaving of your own accord. I feel like if I thought my stepmom was trying to poison my brain, I would have moved out a long time ago. Seems weird that you would have stayed as long as you did. If you really thought your stepmom was poisoning your brain, I feel like you'd be like, I have to get out. I don't think that's a situation where you stick around, oh, I'll see if things improve. Like, no, if someone's poisoning you, you leave. Seems like the definition of a you can't fire me, I quit scenario. Either way, he takes his bag that his dad has been packing for him and says he's gonna leave, and the dad is like, go for it. And so he leaves, and they don't really know where he went, but all they know is that every day since, he calls begging to move back in because he didn't realize how hard a real job would be, and he doesn't like working 40 hours a week because it messes with his vibe, which is his words, not mine. And I don't know what to tell you, man. I think working is a part of life, but on top of it, you had a solid situation. They were going to let you work 15 hours a week and play video games, and you threw it away, and now you have to work a full-time job. It is what it is. Welcome to the real world, bro. I also just think it's delusional that people think that they're just going to be able to sit around and play video games all day and never have to work at all. Like, what planet are you guys on where you actually think that's how it works? I don't know. Even if you're a streamer, like, there's work that goes into it. You have to be entertaining. You have to set up the stream. You have to, you know, entertain people. It's not like you can just sit there silently and play video games unless you're cracked like Shroud. Like, Shroud would probably still make bank because he's just so good at video games. People would pay to watch him even if he said nothing. But for the average streamer, it's not like they just literally do nothing but play video games. So yeah, that wasn't even his plan to be some streamer. He just really thought he was gonna rake in the billions sitting in the basement doing nothing. I don't know, man. I just thought you guys would enjoy those two stories. Figured they were kind of similar somewhat. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below, what you thought. If you don't know what to comment the word gaming down there. Just helps the video do better, and I would appreciate it. If you really want to help me out, you can check out my podcast on Spotify, link down below. And there is a new intro song. You can check it out, link down below. It's just like a friend of mine's, so no pressure, but I told him I would use it in a couple intros. And yeah, other than that, I think that'll do it, guys. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.